Caretta Research Project studying sea turtles on Wassaw Island in Georgia. He has generously agreed to answer some of our questions about the project. Mike, how did you first get into studying sea turtles?
Well, I first got into sea turtles when I came here in 1986 as a volunteer, and just kind of fell in love with sea turtles, and then decided that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. It wasn't really any different than when I was little, like 6 or so, going down to the pond to catch turtles, and I saw these guys with these big turtles and said, man, that's what I'm going to do, is get paid to catch big turtles and make a living off of it.
How long have you been studying sea turtles on Wassaw Island?
I started as a volunteer in 1986. I got hired here in 1990 as a leader, and I've been coming out here ever since.
What has surprised you most about sea turtles?
I think the thing that surprises me the most about sea turtles is how individualistic they are. Each one of them is different. It's kind of hidden with the hatchling behavior, but when you see the adults, you really realize how each one of them acts differently. They're not just all the same type of animal behaviorally. They're just as distinct as individual people are.
How do loggerhead sea turtles fit into the ecosystem on Wassaw Island?
Well, they have a lot of ecological niches they occupy in the ocean, but on the barrier islands, one of the niches we found that they do occupy is by nesting on the beach, they import nutrients into the sand, and the sand's very sterile, so to speak, compared to, say, soil. So any kind of nutrition or organic material that can get put into the sand, like when the babies hatch out, all of the fluids from the eggs seep into the sand, or unfortunately if some die in the nest, or ghost crabs and raccoons get some of them, that's all nutrients that get imported into the sand, which is very important for the plants that live in the dunes to have some sort of fertilizer in order to keep growing. Without those plants growing, it would not create dunes. To anchor the dunes in place, the roots of the plants have to act like a skeleton. So by really nesting, the turtles are actually helping create their nesting habitat. So that's one of the niches that we know that they occupy here.
Interesting. What is an epibiont, and how is it like a hitchhiker?
Well, an epibiont is just that. It's a hitchhiker. It's the term epibiont is derived from two words, epi, which means on top, and biont, which means animal. So it's a plant or an animal that lives on top of another animal. Sea turtles, since they have big hard shells, are actually suitable for a lot of barnacles and sea anemones and all kinds of critters you would normally see stuck to like reefs or docks. Will also grow on sea turtles. They're basically little swimming ecosystems in their own right.
How is the data collected by the Caretta Research Project being used?
We use our data for a number of things, and it's being used by a number of people for various things as well. One of the things that we use our data for, first and foremost, is to ascertain how many individual turtles are nesting on Wassaw Island. That data is then put into a database and added to other projects to kind of determine, because we have this many turtles nesting on this much beach on Wassaw, then maybe all of these other nests were laid by this many females on these other islands. So it gives us kind of an idea of the population level of the turtles.
What is the future of sea turtles on Wassaw Island?
The future of sea turtles, well, the population looks really good on Wassaw. We started in 1973 and are one of the only islands on the southeastern coast that's showing an increase in the number of turtles and the number of nests being laid since we began the project. So I think the future of sea turtles on Wassaw seems pretty good.
Our final question is, how can people everywhere conserve sea turtles?
People can conserve sea turtles simply by expressing an interest in them, by endearing other people to them, so that if there's something that you find out in your personal life that you do that may negatively impact sea turtles, then it may be something that you could change or alter or even give up altogether, because these animals are just so endearing and so wonderful for people to see. We've seen some of the most hardened, Marines and whatnot come out here, and they just look like little kids when they see a loggerhead turtle nesting. So that kind of passion for sea turtles, if you can generate that in people, then that goes a long way to help them out in the long run.